Hey guys! I am so sorry that I am running 15 minutes late. I'm sorry. I figured that you guys would appreciate, though, not having my screaming children in the background. That might be something that would be positive that you would appreciate, I hope. So either way, that was what I was trying to do, was get my children to stop screaming bloody murder. And hopefully you can't hear them from my office if they are screaming bloody murder, which I don't think that they are. But if they are, give me 1 second. Let me just add this. Oh, what is it called? The link? I don't know. Okay. There we go. And post. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Hi, guys. Oh, my gosh. I would also like to apologize for whatever is going on with my hair, like always. Summer is not kind to my flyaways, and it is like a poofy situation. So we're just going to kind of contain it as much as we can here with the ponytail. So sorry if it doesn't look super professional. I figured by this point in the course, like, you guys know me and know that I'm kind of a hot mess express sometimes, but I like to keep it real with you guys. So true life, I'm a blogger. Sometimes my kids like to stay up an hour and a half past their bedtime to scream at me while I have a migraine. Life is good. So all that to say, I wanted to take a second to talk to you guys a little bit about this past week about emails and sales pages and resource pages and all that fun stuff. So before we can dive into what this week we're going to talk about, I wanted to talk a little bit about last week. So one of the questions that I got was kind of what kinds of emails would you guys include in a welcome sequence for any kind of thing, or for when you're having people who've never met you subscribe to your email list to get a freebie. So I made this little handy dandy guide. I hope that you can read it because my handwriting is terrible. So here's basically the intro emails that you should get. What the goal is with all of your intro emails is to be more generous than people expect from you. So typically, you expect to get a freebie from somebody when you sign up for their email list. No. You're going to give them not one, not two, but 3 awesome freebies that otherwise they would have to pay for if they wanted to get. So you're going to give that to them in your email sequence. And in your first email, this is the one where you're going to give them the freebie that you promised them. You're going to introduce yourself, and you're going to tell them where to follow you on social media. Because let's be real, if you don't tell people, like, hey, here's my Facebook page, you can totally Facebook message me whenever you want on Facebook. Like, go here to do that. If you don't tell people that, they're not going to figure it out. Like, just being completely real, like, people who read our blogs are a lot less tech savvy. Even if you don't think that you're super tech savvy, readers of blogs who are not bloggers are even less tech savvy. So, like, I don't think that I'm a very tech savvy person, but like, if I'm not told, like, this is where you can go follow me, I'm never going to follow you. Like, unless I really, really want to for some reason, I'm really not going to. So tell them where to follow you, whether it's Pinterest or Facebook, or if you have a Facebook group or whatever, that's totally, totally fine. Whatever it is, tell them to follow you and where to find you. Who you are, kind of introduce yourself a little bit to them. Don't make it super about you, but just kind of like, hey, I'm Caroline. You're going to be getting an email from me once a week on this day, so be on the lookout for it, because I always love to share some really uplifting and motivating ways for you to save money and to live a better life on a budget. So that's kind of my whole spiel, is like about me, but kind of it's about you as the reader. Like, I'm not just going to email you, and then I painted my toenails today, and then my kids went to school. No, it's going to be things that you can actually use. And ultimately, that's what people want. And then at the very end of the email, this is where you're going to send them this special little line of, look out for the next freebie tomorrow. Because then they're going to be looking for your email. Now, behind the scenes, really quick, I wanted to share something with you because I never knew this. I always just kind of thought, like, you're getting people used to hearing from you. Okay, I can get behind that. But here's something else about introduction email sequences that are so important. The reason that you want to give people a lot of places to click is because most people have Gmail, right? So when you have Gmail is a smart kind of learning tool, believe it or not. So when you get an email from somebody and you click on something, that's telling Gmail, You want to hear from this person. You want to make sure that they see those emails. So Gmail is going to make sure not to throw your emails into the promotions folder where they're never going to get seen. No. These are going to get in the primary folder because you've already basically, somebody's opened them, they've clicked on them, they've interacted with them, and then the bonus of look out for it tomorrow, people are going to open another email from you and they're going to click on another thing from you. So it's kind of a double whammy here where you're getting people used to hearing from you, you're getting them excited to open your emails, but also you're kind of playing a mind game with Google so that you can actually get into their email box. Because at the end of the day, you could have 10,000 people on your email subscribers list, but if you've never sent out an email, it doesn't matter. They're not going to open them. Does that make sense? So make sure that you're doing this. So send them 3 freebies because you want to be super generous and you want to give them super different kinds of opportunities to see what kinds of stuff you have to offer, to open things from you, and to interact with these emails. And then at the end of the email, you have an option. I just said to throw them into your general email list or whatever it is. If you have a bunch of different segments for your email list, make sure that you do that. But that's when you're going to throw them kind of into your regular list. But here's something else that you could do. No pressure to do this if you're not there yet. You could have at the end of that series a tripwire where you're offering them, not like a tripwire necessarily because that's right after an email, kind of a one-time offer of, hey, since you've gotten all of these freebies and I know that this is something that you would like, I have another product. And since you're brand new to my email list, you're going to get it for $7 instead of $37 because I like you so much. So you could send them through that kind of a funnel before you give them into your regular list. But that's totally optional. Like if you're not ready to do a product yet, don't kill yourself doing that because I know product creation is really, really stressful. I love making products. It's totally worth it, but I'm not going to tell you that you have to do that right now. It is totally worth it. So things to remember though, email them regularly. Don't just get them on your email list, send them all these awesome freebies and then never talk to them again. Email them like once a week, bare minimum, once a week. Send them something helpful, send them something useful, give something away, doesn't matter. Add value to their lives in your emails. Have them excited to open them. Don't have them be like, oh my gosh, it's another email from this weirdo. Like, what is she going to tell me this time? Although sometimes, honestly, I'm like, I hope that my email list doesn't feel that way when I send out an email. And then finally, my golden rule, do not email just to sell. Please and thank you. Because I hate that. And I know so many people hate that. Like if you have never emailed your list and the first and only time that you've ever emailed somebody is for the Genius Bloggers Toolkit, this has happened to me before. Last year I got, and I'm not exaggerating, 100 different emails from people who had never gotten an email from ever. I'm like, I didn't know that I was on all of these different email lists because the only time they send me an email was when they're going to sell something. So I unsubscribed from 100 different email lists that day, but don't be that person. So intro emails, offer as many freebies as humanly possible, because the more that you offer, the more that you give away for free, the better off your relationship is going to be with your readers. But don't forget, you have to keep emailing them. Keep up that relationship, maintain it. Think of it, Rosemary Groner has a course called Date Your List, because that's exactly what it is. You're dating your email list. If you don't call your email list, if you don't call your date for 6 weeks, and then the next time you call them, it's a 2 a.m. booty call, like, are they really going to answer you? No, chances are they're not going to answer you for your sale booty call email. So date your list, date them well, date them like you want to marry them. Because that's what this is. This is building a long-term relationship with your email list. So remember to do all of that. Whew, that was a long one. So let me see. I had another one. No, that one I don't want to talk about yet. I was going to have this one all pretty and color-coded, but I didn't get time to because my kids started screaming. Date your list is awesome. Roundups versus resources pages. So this is something that I thought was really interesting because honestly, I never really thought a great deal about the difference between a roundup and a resource page. Last week, we talked all about resource pages and sales pages. Hang on, where's my mute button? Ah, there it is. Can you guys still hear me? Because I didn't mute my, I want to make sure I didn't actually mute my thingy here, but I got a notification. Okay, I'm hoping that you guys can hear me, and otherwise I'll be looking for it just in case I muted it. Okay, anyway, roundups versus resource pages. Resource pages are a collection of products, where roundups are a collection of posts. That's the big key difference, as well as the fact that their goals are different as well. For a resource page, like the ones that we did last week, where you're basically linking to your favorite affiliate products that you use constantly and talk about constantly, so that people all have them in one location so that they can get them and see them quickly. That's a resource page. Versus roundups, the goal is to get traffic. Ran out of space, so you can't really see that. It's traffic. The goal for a roundup is traffic. It's also, you could say that it's also to build connections with other bloggers, to foster healthy relationships and reciprocity with other bloggers, to kind of get your stuff out there, but it all comes back to traffic. The goal of roundups is nothing more than traffic, because they do really well on Pinterest. They do really well on all different kinds of social. People love them. People share them. People send them to their friends. People share them on Pinterest, on Facebook, everywhere. They get around. And so the goal is for traffic here. But here, for your resource page, your goal is to get people to buy from you. Whether or not you're like actively trying to sell to them is a completely moot point. Because at the end of the day, all of the links in your resource page, as much as humanly possible, all of them, if you can, should all be affiliate links. These are where people are going to go when they want to buy something from you and want to know what you have to recommend in that product category. So that's the difference between a resource page and a roundup. Both of them, importantly, let's see, they can overlap. Some roundups can be just affiliates. There's kind of an important part there. Like if you're doing the top courses or something, you can have that being a roundup. However, it's not, don't limit them. Thank you. I'm reading my own notes here. Don't limit them to just affiliate links. Like if you're only trying to do roundup posts that have affiliate links for you, that's not going to be the goal. You're making more resource pages or more top 10 from Amazon kinds of pages. And there's nothing wrong with that, but these roundup stuff do really, really well. And at the end of the day, the whole goal right now is more money. Let's be real. The whole goal is more money. These will do better on Pinterest. You can throw affiliate links into roundup posts. You can share your other posts inside of roundup posts. So let's say you have a roundup page that gets 50,000 page views over the course of the holiday season. That's amazing, right? But let's say you only have 100 people who visit your resource page. Sure, each one of them might buy something from your resource page, might click on one of your affiliates and buy from that, but your roundup has a lot more opportunity to get a lot more eyes on your blog and to have people clicking around, subscribing to your email list. You can pepper in some affiliate links. You can throw in some Amazon native ads. All of those things can happen inside of roundup posts. So that's why I'm a huge fan of them. So were there any questions about resource pages versus roundups? I know I just kind of fired through that really quickly. So I wanted to take a sec. Did I miss any questions about resource pages or sales pages from last week? I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask those questions before we move in to all of the fun stuff about roundup posts and how awesome they are, and all of the kind of rules about them. We're going to get into a lot of stuff this week, so hang on to your hats if you can. I'm really sorry. It's like 100 degrees in Pennsylvania right now, and I'm relegated to the basement. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Woo. So since it doesn't look like we have any questions, I'm super excited about that, I gotta be honest, because my brain is like not working on full capacity right now. Okay, so let me get to, where is it? Here we go. No? Yes? No? Oh my gosh. I need to do a better job at marking up these pages. Nope, that is the right page. I'm doing well today. Okay, roundup posts for the win. I am, like I said, I'm a huge, huge fan of Roundup posts. I know that there's a lot of conflicting opinions about Roundup posts. A lot of people say that they're a cheap way to get traffic, that they're a pain in the neck, that they kind of devalue blogs. But I'm going to be totally honest, that I don't think is completely true at all. I think, in fact, the opposite a lot of times. I think that Roundup posts are really, really valuable. I think that they can provide you with a lot of traffic. And at the end of the day, think about it this way. If you get, let's say you got 50,000 page views over the course of the holiday season from a post, you could apply to Mediavine. If that's just from one post, you could apply to Mediavine because you might be able to have enough page views at the end of a month that you only need 25,000 sessions to get onto Mediavine. Mediavine is much, much better of an ad network than AdSense. So if you're with Google AdSense, your next step up goal should be to get into Mediavine, and you need 25,000 sessions each month in order to get that. Once you hit that goal, it's okay if your traffic fluctuates a little bit. But being able to hit that goal means that your traffic is now worth a lot more to you. Let me give you a frame of reference. With Mediavine, I have heard people getting between 12 to 20, depending on the quarter, depending on the season and the niche that it's in, $12 to $20 per 1,000 page views. Now, compare that to AdSense, and they're like $1 to $2. That's a huge, huge increase. So if I was you, I would definitely be kind of like eye on the prize of getting those page views. I know that it's not necessarily as much of a long-term strategy as making sure that you have a strength like in affiliate marketing and everything. But again, ads are passive income, guys. Like, I'm never going to scoff at getting passive income for my site. I don't have to do anything. No matter if I send out an email ever, I'm still going to get passive income from ads for my site. So that's kind of an easy way to kind of focus on like why page views are so important. And I know it's not a popular opinion either, is that page views are important. Okay. Oh, sorry, Sandy. I totally missed this. Should we only have one sales page at a time on our page? Nope. You can have as many as you want. If you have, because think about it again. Remember this, guys. Whenever somebody comes to your site, the reality of them not ever making it to your homepage to see what all you have there on your homepage is very, very high. People aren't doing that anymore. They're coming in from the back end of a post. They're coming in from Pinterest to a post. And then if you have any other posts linked inside of that post, they're going to those posts. And that's kind of the end of it. So it doesn't really matter how many sales pages you have or how many offers you have or how many different holiday sales you are talking about. That's totally, totally fine. Just kind of get them out there. That's always my thing, is it's better to have them out there than just have them either gathering pixelated dust in your, drafts file, or just never having gotten them sent out. There were plenty of posts from last season, from last holiday season, from last year that I didn't get out in time, and that was my own fault. And that could have been an income generating opportunity for me, but instead they're still sitting in my posts drafts folder. They're going to go out this year, but they could have been gathering SEO juice over the year. They could have been gathering page views and getting people to pin them, but they didn't. So that's my own fault. But yeah, there's no limit to how many pages or sales pages I would have. How many Roundup posts do you suggest for a holiday season? As many as humanly possible. Is that a thing? I am a huge fan of them. If you follow my blog over the course of the holiday season, you might not see it, but I will be posting new holiday roundups all the time. That's going to be where I focus a lot of my energy, because they do so well over the holidays, and how easy they are to share, how easy they are to kind of get people to share. And that's kind of what I want, is that virality of those kinds of pins and those posts. So you're going to see a lot of them from me. And a lot of them honestly have been happening for years, but I kind of repost them and re-update them, make new pins and stuff for them. Hang on. What?
I can't see.
Go to bed, bud.
I'm trying to, but Will's too loud.
Honey, go to bed.
I'm trying to.
Sweetie, it's okay.
I'm trying to go to sleep, but Will's just too loud.
Okay, give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry. Love you. Okay. Sorry, guys. I told you my kids are testing every ounce of my patience today, and I was not kidding. Okay. So, sorry. I got sidetracked there. Bottom line, I have no problem telling you basically you can do a new Roundup post for every day of the holiday season. See what works and what doesn't, because honestly, like, you know, there's going to be some that do better than others, and you never know unless you try. So that's always kind of my thing, is you never know unless you try. So try as much as you possibly can. Because again, you never know. It's kind of, a lot of it is throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks. And then you can elaborate from that. Like, let's say you have 8 different posts that are roundups that have gone out. One of them is about, I don't know, whether it's like 50 different kinds of things that you can have, if it's 50 different recipes, if it's 10 organization hacks, if it's $5 store cleaning tips, whatever it is. If you have one of those posts that does really well, then you can replicate it with other different kind of spins on it. So if you have a Christmas decorating 101 from Hobby Lobby that does really, really well, then you know that you can do a Thanksgiving decorating 101 from Hobby Lobby, or a Halloween one that does from Hobby Lobby, or a New Year's, or a neutral Christmas like decoration from Hobby Lobby. Whatever it is, you can make all of these different things and kind of spin them so that they're just different enough, but it's still similar, so that you know what's worked in the past and can kind of move forward with that. Does that make sense? I hope that it made sense. So let's see. I'm sorry. Okay. How do I recommend that we share those or get them out there? Facebook groups more helpful or a waste of time? Okay. I guess, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion about Facebook groups. I use Facebook groups more specifically as a networking tool, or to be able to have a more direct line with you guys, to be able to share things like when Deposit Photos has their 50-cent photo sale. Like, I can tell you guys that, and I don't have to worry if my email gets, you know, pushed into the promotions folder. But as far as like sharing anything on Facebook groups, I don't really find that they're super helpful. I think that, like with Pinterest, everything that's niche specific has been doing so much better. And a lot of Facebook groups that are like pin for pin, like for like, whatever it is, it doesn't really apply to me. Like, I don't have a lot of the pins that are there that I would have to share. I have no use for them. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to participate in those things if I can't actually do that. Like, if I'm in a pin, what is it, like a pin thread, and it's like you have to repin everybody's stuff. It's like, I'm not doing that, because there's people on here whose stuff I have no reason to talk about, and it's going to damage my own personal Pinterest boards by sharing that. So I'm not going to do it. So I don't find that they're super helpful, if I'm being honest. However, that said, if you can find a Facebook group that is specific to a niche that's yours, or a community that's really, really strong and thriving, then you might be able to get away with that. But I really wouldn't bank on that. I don't think that that's the way to go. But where I do think that there is like a lot to say is within link parties. When you can share Roundup posts, those still do really, really well in link parties. And on Pinterest. I think that they do really well on Pinterest. Stumble Upon is also another one. But honestly, Stumble Upon, there's no strategy that I can fathom for Stumble Upon. But it does randomly, like every once in a while, I'll have like a day of high traffic and it's all from Stumble Upon. And then the next day it's gone, but I mean, it happened. So I would definitely stick with Pinterest as the primary, link parties as kind of a more direct connection, I guess. And then I would do Facebook groups, but that's kind of more of like a last resort, because it's like, I just really can't. I've never actually seen it working super well unless it's a very specific niche. Does that make sense? Like if I know there's a group for Michelle Schroeder Gardner who runs Making Sense of Sense. She has a Facebook group for her community in her affiliate marketing class. In that class, because most of the people who follow Michelle are also money-minded bloggers, I know that I can share a lot of those people's content, and I know that a lot of them will share my content. And so that's one of the share threads that I will participate in. But I mean, as far as like general ones, like you're not going to see me joining those just because, you know, they don't work super well. And as far as like a Facebook group goes, pro tip, guys, Facebook wants to see people being super interactive with Facebook groups. So if there's like a share day or something and people aren't participating in it, Facebook's not going to show posts like that to people anymore from your group. Like you're going to start seeing less and less people engaging in your group. And so it's basically just not a good way to be for a Facebook group owner or as a participant. I just don't think that's super worth your time. So there's that. Sorry, that was a long, all over the place. Okay. That makes sense for Facebook groups. Any recommendation on strategy or how to gain traction on Pinterest for posts? Yes, I do actually. So right now, I did an experiment today, just kind of out of curiosity. My traffic over the weekend was okay, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. So today I did an experiment. Monday is usually, like Sunday's my highest traffic day, Saturday, and then it kind of goes from like Sunday and then it tapers down throughout the course of the week and then peaks again on Saturday and Sunday. So over the course of the week, it's usually kind of a slow decline. But I wanted to see if there was any merit to the concept of like, Pinterest is obsessed with new content. Yes, I've seen it before, but I really kind of wanted to test it again. So one of my more popular posts, I did a new set of pins. I made 2 new sets of pins, made new pin descriptions for them, and republished the post to be from this morning. Super easy. And it wound up getting, I have double the page views that I had yesterday. And almost all of them are from that pin. Now, it's worth mentioning, tomorrow, that virality might be gone. It probably will be. Unless for some reason it has like a true viral spike that isn't affected directly by Pinterest and their algorithm, it's probably going to be gone. And that's fine. But if that's the case, then that means that we should all be, I hate saying this, but it's the truth. If that's the case, then that means that we should all be trying to publish something new every day to Pinterest and get it out there onto our personal boards. Trust me, I don't want to say that any more than you want to hear it, because I don't really want to write something brand new each day and get an awesome pin made and an awesome pin description and make sure that each post is SEO full and everything like that. But you know what? If that's what Pinterest wants, and that's how I'm going to be getting my traffic and getting people onto my email list and getting more people to interact with my page and my blog and to get people to buy things from me, then that's what I'm going to do. Trust me, like I don't like it any more than you do, and I think that it's a load of crock from Pinterest that, you know, they're giving this kind of much preferential treatment just to new stuff. And then once it's not new, fresh content anymore, they're like, screw this. Like it's more than 24 hours old now. We're not going to pay attention to it anymore. But so that's kind of my frustration personally, but that's what it's looking like right now with Pinterest. Pinterest really likes personal boards. Pinterest really likes new content, new fresh content, and new pins. And that way you can also see which kinds of pins are working, what descriptions are working, and be able to test it that way. Whew, sorry. So that's kind of what's going on with Pinterest. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with Pinterest. It's very frustrating, but we don't really have much of a choice but to kind of go along with it and do the best that we possibly can to get Pinterest to kind of put us in their good favor. So this holiday season, I think, is going to be really interesting because I have a lot of posts that had been viral over the holiday season, but they're not fresh anymore. So it's like, do I have to repost it every single day? I don't know. I will try that out once it gets closer to the holidays and keep you guys posted to see if that actually works. Okay, so as far as like how to gain traction for Pinterest posts, making sure that you have really strong personal boards still seems to be right now the way to go. Not saying to get rid of your group boards, because honestly, with the way that Pinterest is, they could say tomorrow, like, no, personal boards are not the thing we're going to focus on. We're actually going to focus all on group boards. So you don't want to get rid of all of your stuff there. We just don't know what Pinterest is going to do. So we just kind of have to hold on and fly by the seat of our pants a lot of times. Link parties still work. I mean, okay, I've always found them to work. I think that as far as like in the very beginning stages, it's a really intimate way to kind of A/B test stuff, which is why I recommend them a lot, because then you can actually, you know, especially if you can get featured, that's a big boost for traffic when you're just starting out. So that's a real positive thing. But also then you can see which post does better, like what kinds of things people are looking for to share and that they would click on. Because again, at the end of the day, you have to kind of give people what they want. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you want to write about like how your kid's first day of school went. You have to think about it in the sense of like, do people want to hear about this? What do people want to hear about? So it could be switched from my kid's first day of school to how to survive sending your oldest off to school for the first time. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like, it's a nice little smaller way to do an A/B test of what works and what doesn't, what people want. I think that it's worth the time if you have like a half an hour to spend finding them like each day for a week and spending some time adding your posts to them. I've always found them to be worth it. But now that my traffic is substantial from both Pinterest and Google, it's definitely not worth my time. But let me see if I can remember what her name is. There is a woman who does link party. I think that it's, I can't remember what her name is. I have to find it. There's a woman who actually schedules your link parties for you. And she has a list of like the top link parties and she sends them to, she posts your stuff to them each day of each week. So that's really awesome. I'm going to find her and I'm going to send you guys, I'm going to share that here. So how long do I think that it would take to gain traction, with Pinterest? I've been writing new posts every single day for a week with 4+ pins per post and I feel stuck with my page views. Ooch. So in that case, Shauna, I would recommend making more boards for your personal stuff, making more niche-specific personal boards. So let's say you have, I'm so sorry, I'm like spacing on what you write about, Shauna. I should totally remember this. I'm really sorry. Let's just say that you talk about recipes. That's probably not true. I'm sorry. But let's say you talk about recipes. So you want to have a recipes board. You want to have a dinner board. You want to have a chicken dinner board. You want to have a weeknight dinner board. All of these things you want to make sure that you have, so that you have specifics as to where your pin is going and to what kind of signals you can tell Pinterest about your pin and what it's about and what people should be searching for in order to find your pin. So that's kind of what you should be doing, is kind of focusing on like what kinds of personal boards can you niche down to talk about. Because again, at the end of the day, you need to tell Pinterest what your pins are about. And you do this by using the keywords in your pin description and by where you pin your pin. It's not to say, again, like you might actually really benefit from finding group boards that are really specific to your niche. You can still do that. Pin Groupie is a great way to do that. There are Facebook groups that have that. Let me write these things down because I know I'm going to forget them. Hang on. Where to find Pinterest group boards. And I'm sure that we've talked about this before. I'm sorry if we haven't. Okay. Pin. Oh no, my Sharpie's running out of ink. Pingroupie.com. Facebook groups. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Now you guys get to see my really messy handwriting as I'm jotting this all down. Okay. Where to find Pinterest group boards. Pingroupie.com is a really easy way to search for them. However, you can't really tell if they're any good. It's a resource. It's a website. So it's kind of a third-party thing. Facebook groups. There are Facebook groups that are specifically for Pinterest group boards where you can connect with owners of boards directly and give them your login in or your Pinterest email, and they can send you a link directly. So there's none of this back and forth of looking for where to go. And then my personal favorite is to go and stalk other bloggers in your niche who are really popular and who know what they're doing, and to see what group boards they're still in. Because at the end of the day, that's where you want to be, is in the same group board as people who you really respect in the blogging world. My first person who I look for, I always go to is Crystal Payne from Money Saving Mom, because I want to be in her group boards because I know that she shares everything. I know that she has really great content that I want to share that my readers can benefit from. And I know that any board that she's in is going to be high quality because she's a mega blogger. So that's what I do personally, is that's where I focus a lot of my time and energy. Is if I'm looking for group boards, I'm going to be looking on other people's stuff. I'm going to be trying to find where they are, because that's where I want to be. Okay. Is it better to have keywords for a pin description? Sorry. Is it better to have more keywords for a pin/board description, or the same 1 to 2 keywords more times throughout the pin board descriptions? So no, you want to only have the keyword, like, let's say you talk about gut health. Like, I don't know why. I'm sorry, guys. Let's say you talk about gut health for whatever reason. You don't have to repeat the phrase gut health 800 times in a pin description to have Pinterest knowing what it's about. You just have to say it once, and make sure that you're adding different kinds of keywords in there. The way that Pinterest does it is they kind of cherry pick a lot in pin descriptions. So sorry, let's say your post is about gut health for new babies after a C-section. You want to make sure that you have all of those keywords in there, like safe for newborns, C-section moms, after a cesarean, healing your gut, all of those kinds of different keywords, but you're going to want to do it in kind of like a way that's a sentence. You don't want it to be like hashtag healing, hashtag gut health. That's kind of, I mean, you can do hashtags, but it's like you don't want it to look icky. Does that make sense? I always kind of go off of like other bigger pinners that I really like to see what kinds of pin descriptions they're using. My friend Carly from Mommy on Purpose, I always look to her to see what kinds of pin descriptions she's using. And her pin descriptions have been like 1 to 2 sentences that I initially thought were like really, really simple. And I talked to her about it. I'm like, what is going on with these pin descriptions? And basically the way that she said it was, you want it to look natural. You don't want it to look like it's just a stacked pin description, because that's kind of throwing up red flags right now. Apparently. Pinterest, again, I don't know what's going on with Pinterest, guys. But so the idea is you want to have as many keywords as you possibly can in 2 sentences that you can, or 2 or more sentences. It doesn't have to just be 2, but make sure that you get the big ones out there. They don't have to be in the same sequential order. So let's say you want to talk about, again, we're going to use gut health. Why not? You don't have to say women gut health, comma, children's gut health, comma, healing your gut, comma. Like all of those things don't have to be in that kind of weird, choppy, just keyword format. Make it something like they already know that the post is about gut health. What else is it about? Babies, newborns, after C-section, healing, healthy, all of these different kinds of keywords that you want to throw in there. Try to do so in a natural way. Try. That's all we can really ask for. Okay, I hope that helped and that didn't like really throw you guys off. Because again, I can't claim to be a Pinterest professional. I don't know what Pinterest is going to do tomorrow. We never do. They haven't updated anything for the month of August yet. That could change. Like, we never know. So we'll see how they change everything in the next few weeks. I don't know. But all that to say, there's still plenty more that I wanted to talk to you guys about because when I get tired, I get weirdly productive. So I'm really sorry if I start to like drone on a little bit. It's because I'm tired. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a morning person for sure. Okay, so anyway, we didn't even finish this page. So Roundups for the win. Here are some of the cool things that you can do with Roundups. You may have seen them about other people's products, but they don't just have to be about other people's stuff, other people's posts. They can be about your own posts. Woo, sorry. There we go. They can be about your own posts. Let's say you have 15 different recipes for weeknight dinners on your site that you've written. Make a Roundup post about your site. There's no rules that say you can't do that. Roundup posts that are specific to one topic do really well. You don't want it to be like posts for moms. What kinds of posts for moms? Are we talking about organization posts? Are we talking about time management? Are we talking about self-care? Like, make it specific about one topic. Sorry, flopping all over the place here. Use images or just links. It's up to you. Personally, I like images. I prefer images. That's always been my thing. But you can just use links. But me personally, I would use images. You can gather your posts using Facebook groups that are specific for finding Roundup posts. That is one of my favorite ways to do it for a few reasons. One, you don't have to do any work. Like, you post basically it's like a want ad. And don't worry, I'm going to share these Facebook groups with you this week. Don't worry, but I'm not going to overwhelm you in this video. So inside of these Facebook groups, you literally post like a want ad, like in search of a post about 10 easy weeknight chicken dinners on a budget. And it's due in 3 weeks, and it's for my website. And by linking your stuff, you're giving me permission to link back to you and to use an image in a collage and on my post. And people send their links, and then you're done. Like, I've gotten posts or I've gotten responses of like more than 80 different topics just off of one inquiry that I've posted. And it's awesome because these people are giving you outright permission to use their stuff, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, I promise. So that's a really easy way to do it because, again, it's all gathered for you. You don't have to go around looking for specific stuff that will fit kind of your general topic. And then you're kind of building reciprocity amongst other bloggers. So anyway, people love them. I kind of broke this one down into like why to do them because honestly, I have heard a lot of people kind of not complaining necessarily about them, but like saying that they're hesitant about it. People love them. It's just a fact. People love Roundup posts. They do really well on social. They just do. And they're really easy to make. And this is kind of like the big one here for me is like, I don't have to sit down in front of my computer and spend 2 hours typing. And then I have to go back and edit. And then I have to go back through and add affiliate links. No, it takes me 15 minutes to copy and paste everything from these Facebook groups or whatever and get the images up and format everything. And then I'm done. Like it'll take me, instead of, it taking like 3 hours to write a post, it'll take an hour from start to finish. That's my kind of stuff. So just in case you don't believe me, go on to Pinterest and see just how many number posts are there on your home feed. Number posts are like the top or 25 different ways to cook a chicken. Those are all Roundup posts. Those list posts, those are Roundup posts in some way, shape, or form. So people love Roundup posts. They're easy to make. You should totally do them. And so I wanted to talk really quick about the legality of stuff, because there was this one woman a while ago. She's since disappeared because obviously blogging wasn't for her, because she would message people, like email them and everything, going after them because they pinned her content. Like we all do when we share other people's stuff to our Pinterest. She didn't understand sharing like at all on social media. And she like flipped out on people numerous times for using her stuff in Roundups. And so obviously, people stopped doing it, and I don't think that she's around anymore because again, she didn't understand, like when people shared stuff on Pinterest, it's not like they're copying her work. They're sharing it. But she didn't understand that. So nevertheless, that was going around for a little bit about like people don't want their stuff in Roundups. Counterpoint to that, why wouldn't you want your stuff in Roundups? Honest question. Like think about it that way. Like would you want someone else to share your stuff, not copying your content, sharing a clickable title or an image of yours so that people who are interested in that topic and want to read more, who may have never heard of you before, get onto your site? That to me is a win-win situation. The other blogger gets traffic and I get traffic too from people who are interested in that topic. So at the end of the day, for me, if anybody asks me if they can use my stuff in a Roundup post, as long as they're not copying and pasting my stuff and then calling it a Roundup, then we're good. In this case, the way that I do Roundups and the way that I encourage you to do Roundups is in the format of, and I'll show this to you, in the format of using a picture, an image, if you get permission, and then doing a link of the title of the pin or of the post and the name of the blog or the blogger where you found it, and then linking everything. The image, the title, the name of the blog, everything gets sent straight to that blogger. You are not adding any of the recipe. You're not taking any of the excerpts from that post. You are just adding the credit to that other blogger. So all that to say, here are ways to be safe with Roundups to protect yourself. So starting from kind of like the most safe to the least. So hang on. Posting with full permission from Facebook groups. Again, you get full permission in these groups. There is a disclosure that you put in about how the images will be used, if images will be used. You say, by adding your link here, you're acknowledging that I'm going to add an image of yours to my post and that it might be used in a collage for pin. I always mention that because honestly, collages do really, really well, and it would be stupid not to ask somebody to use their pin image for a collage. So that's the least reckless, is to get full permission using a Facebook group. The next one that you can do is find a post on Pinterest and then email the blogger directly asking to use their stuff in your post. Truthfully, I've never gotten somebody to say no to this. Like I've never had somebody who's like, oh gosh, no, don't do that. That's terrible. I don't want you to do that. No, they're always like, sweet, free traffic. Sign me up. Because again, bloggers know that this stuff does really, really well. It brings in traffic without a question. So just email them and ask. You can always do that. Don't worry about, like, hey, I'm making a post about 10 different ways to save money, period. I'd like to use your page, blankety blank, as a resource on my Roundup. Is that okay if I do that? And then you can email back and forth. And you now have a new blogger friend, basically, because you're sharing their stuff. And at the end of the day, you're not asking for anything in return. You're not asking for a do follow link. You're not asking for them to share your stuff on their pages or anything. No, you're just offering to give them more traffic for free. What's not to love about that, right? So when you make your post, when you make your roundup, sorry, like dry and humid at the same time here. It's horrible. Okay, when you make your post, like I said, I want you to link the heck out of it. I don't want you to just do the caption underneath of it. I don't want you to just do linking to the title. No, I want you to go above and beyond here, okay? I want you to link from the image to the original poster. Underneath of it, the title of the post to the original poster. Giving full credit to their blog name and then linking to it again. Because again, remember, kind of at the end of the day, everything that you do in blogging should all come back to, would you want the same thing done for you? How would you want another blogger to treat you? And again, at the end of the day, I would want somebody to do this for me. I don't want them to share, if I have a recipe, I don't want them to share my recipe on their site. That's stealing traffic from me. I want them to give me full credit wherever they can and to get people to my site. So be like that. And then the final one, unpopular opinion, maybe, but I'm going to share it with you guys anyway. Find images and posts on Pinterest and then use them without permission. If you can't get a hold of somebody, but if you have a post that you're doing that's like the top 10 ways to organize your house from Target, and you found, you know, a really awesome like DIY upcycle or something from a Target something or other, and this person isn't responding from you, or you don't have the time and you want to turn it around quickly. I'm so sorry, guys. I've done this before plenty of times without permission. And I, of course, you know, I always link to it and everything. I never, ever in a million years would dream of taking credit for someone else's stuff. I always make sure that I link the crap out of it. And in fact, I've gotten responses from other people in the past asking me to change the image because they have a new update for it and they'd rather that image be used than the one that I have in the post. They said that they're going to share it on their social profiles because it's awesome or whatever. I've never had somebody ever once email me saying, take my stuff off of your Roundup. Now, of course, you are going to find people that are like that at the end of the day. You're just going to, there's always going to be somebody who's got a bee in their bonnet or whatever. But truth be told, I have done this. I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't done this before. And that's where a lot of my Roundup posts have come from. Long before I knew about Facebook groups and getting full permission, going to Pinterest and doing like a search and then just kind of cherry picking all of the things that you thought kind of fit what you're going for with your post. That was what people used to do. And so that's what, truthfully, that's what I still do sometimes. Whether or not you agree with that or whether you think that you would do that, that's totally fine. I'm not here to pass judgment, but that's what I do. And then at the end of the day, you have to kind of remember, if you are hesitant about doing something like that, you're bringing free traffic to another blogger. You're bringing them free publicity by getting their stuff out there into a larger audience because of a Roundup. Like, think about it. If you only have a post that's like 15-minute chicken dinner with one recipe, like chances are people aren't going to see that as often as they would if it's like, you know, the top 50 chicken recipes for dinner in a Roundup that does really, really well. People are going to see that and they're going to click through over to that. You can share it with that blogger so that they know, like, hey, I used your post in this Roundup. It's doing really, really well. And just wanted to let you know, here it is. So that they know, and you're not trying to be like shady or anything, hiding it from them. And then, of course, at the end of the day, take it down if the blogger asks you to. I, again, haven't had that happen ever. But just in case it ever does, if somebody ever emails you saying, hey, I don't want my stuff on your site, you better take it down. Like, don't be that person who's like, but it gives me traffic. Like, it's not your stuff. So at the end of the day, you have to kind of remember, like with Roundup stuff, you are basically renting someone else's post to help you get some traffic and then to also bring them traffic. These do really, really well no matter what. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where my brain goes, is everybody comes out of this situation as a winner at the end of the day. So some really quick, because we have to wrap this up. Some things to make sure that you include in all of your Roundups. Like I said, the link to the original poster, giving all of the credit to the original poster. Those are the big things, because again, remember, you're renting stuff. You don't want to take any credit because it's not yours. So just give them the credit. Period, paragraph, end of story. Then make sure that you're adding, sorry, sorry, it's getting late, guys. Can you tell? Make sure that you are adding affiliates throughout as much as you can. You don't have to, inundate it with affiliate links, but if you have a post and one of them happens to be like, let's say you have a 25 chicken recipes for a busy weekend night is your Roundup. If you have one that's also a freezer meal, you could say, this is just like one of the recipes that I found in my Freeze Easy, and then link to my Freeze Easy as an affiliate. Because if people are clicking on a freezer cooking recipe, they probably want to hear about my Freeze Easy, and then you get an affiliate commission. You're welcome. Always have an email opt-in. Even though it is a Roundup post, give people an option of a place to sign up for your email. Always important, because email is a long-term strategy. Roundups are kind of short-term. These are kind of seasonal a lot of times. They come and go, but getting somebody to your email list is a long-term game here. Okay, links, plural, to your related post throughout. So the way that I do this is that I literally just write out the words related post, and then I link to another post that I think is related. And I just have those kind of peppered underneath of every once in a while, one of the images. That way, if they're kind of getting bored with the Roundup for whatever reason, or if they see a title of one of my posts that catches their eye, they can click through and kind of get sucked down into the wormhole that is my blog. Because again, at the end of the day, that's really kind of what you want, is you want more and more people to get absorbed into your blog and to kind of just kind of keep clicking through it. So that's the goal. So make sure that you have links to all of your related posts that are about your blog or about that Roundup. Make sure that you have great pins, plural if you can. The collages do exceptionally well for Roundup posts. So in the Pinterest templates, there are collage templates that you guys can use. You can edit them as much as you want to have as many different pictures as you want. But those kinds of collages do really, really well. So don't forget, collages are awesome for pins. You want to have it as one specific topic. Remember, you don't want to just have it as kind of moms, things for moms. No, is it organizational tips for moms? Is it self-care for moms? Is it whatever? You know what I mean? So that's what we want to do. That kind of bleeds into the SEO title a little bit, because again, if you're just talking about tips for moms, what kinds of tips? So adding specifics about what you are talking about inside of your post is going to help SEO, which again, long-term game. So this is kind of taking a little bit from everywhere. Short-term game plan of getting more page views from Roundups, long-term game from email, long-term game from SEO. Those are the big ones. Okay. Make sure that you are adding an Amazon native ad at some point in your post. Don't forget about Amazon, okay, guys? Even if you feel like you can't think of anything that somebody might want to hear about, if you have an Amazon native ad, they're going to show whoever's on your site whatever it is that they want to see from Amazon. And especially over the holidays, that's really, really valuable, because people are they're sitting there basically, like, I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but think about it this way. Over the holidays, they're basically sitting there with their credit card in their hand waiting to spend money. you might as well give them a place where you can make money too from it. So as kind of sad as that might be, bear with me here. And then make sure that you have your ads turned on. I was talking to somebody who last year was trying to figure out why their ad revenue was so low. And as it turns out, on their Roundup posts that they had for the season, they didn't have any of their ads turned on. For their big traffic driving posts, they didn't have ads on. So make sure that that doesn't happen to you. Okay. Woo! That was a lot of talking again. Sorry. Do you have any way that you keep, that you organize and keep up with your posts that you know that when they're related to each other? I probably should have a better way of doing this, but I literally just kind of like, I know what posts do really well. I search. So when you link inside of your posts, you can do like linking, and you do Command K if you have a Mac, or Control K, and that adds a link, and then it'll pop up with a little search bar in your WordPress. And I just search for keywords. A lot of times in the far right bar, there's going to be related keyword or related post recommendations or post recommendations that your site basically thinks would fit in well with that topic. And a lot of times it hits the nail straight on the head. But sometimes there are times where I want it to link to other things. So I will do like a search for, if I'm doing a post on saving money in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to search for saving money as the keyword. And then it's going to show me all of my top posts for saving money that I've ever written. And so I'm just kind of going to be peppering them in over the course of the entire post. Or, you know, it could be times where I've talked about freezer cooking. And so I'm going to type in my little search for my link, freezer cooking, and it's going to show me the things in places where I've talked about freezer cooking. And so that's kind of what I do. I should probably have a better system for that. But as of right now, that's what I do. That's my plan. And it's worked really well for me. And I know that once you know if you are ranking for certain SEO keywords, if some of your posts are doing better, you want to make sure that you have backlinks to that post that's doing really well. And so I'll make sure that that gets added to any related post so that I can get that out there as well. Wow, that was a lot of talking, guys. I'm really sorry. Okay, so do I have any more questions about like what we're going to be going over this week? This week is going to be really heavy on like how to make roundups that work, that convert, how to get them out there, where to find them, and all that fun stuff. So if there aren't any questions, I know that I went over because I started late. I'm sorry, guys. But, you know, real life with kids, like my husband works nights. And so this is kind of the only time that I've got to do this. You guys are real troopers for dealing with my my fly by the seat of my pants scheduling sometimes. So I really appreciate it. So if there aren't any more questions right now, I will end this. And then if you guys have any more questions, I will get to them over the course of the week. All right, guys. Thanks so much again for putting up with me. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.